And now, fight fans, we are set to go. Once again, this bout is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. His background is in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. At 5 feet 11 inches tall, he weighed in officially 170 3/4 pounds. His professional record in 7 bouts, 4 victories with 3 defeats. Fighting out of Bournemouth, England, here is Andy Kerr. And next, his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. A mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighing in 169 1/2 pounds. His professional record stands at 4 victories and 1 defeat. Fighting out of and representing London, England, here is Charlie Watts. Referee in charge of the action is David Swan.
Referee David Swan about to get this one underway. 3 5-minute rounds in the Cage Warriors welterweight division. Charlie the Ox Watts in the black shorts. Andy Kerr in the white.
Charlie, you ready to fight? Fight.
And this one's underway, Josh. The first of 3 bouts on our Facebook stream.
A nice tentative start from both guys here. Just going to feel each other out. See who's going to be the first to land.
Nice leg kick there from Charlie Watts. Straight right hand, keeping his man guessing. Charlie looking very calm and composed in there, Josh.
Yeah, nice footwork, but going to the body is Andy Kerr, just showing the intention to mix up some of those target areas. And a nice head kick, just not quite finding its way through.
Seen that straight right hand a lot from Watts early in this contest. We saw some frantic striking exchanges last time Charlie was in the cage here at Cage Warriors. Looking a little bit more measured to start things off this time, Josh.
Yeah, plenty of time to go here in this bout for him. Nice combination just to search his way out there. But, you know, when he gets inside on guys and grabs hold of them, he's so physically dominant. And once he gets them to the ground, his ground and pound is really where he separates himself.
Took a big shot on the chin, did Watts there. Watts straight through it.
Yeah, did manage to fire back some short inside shots of his own.
Ooh, big high kick there from Charlie Watts.
Yeah, purely hitting the guard of Andy Kerr, though, who immediately shoots. And look at the power of Watts just to meet it with his hips and drive his man straight back up against the cage.
He feinted the uppercut there to elicit the shot from his opponent.
I mean, he found his way in on the hips, but Watts was so good at dropping his weight forward quickly, just shutting that shot down almost instantaneously.
Physically a very, very powerful man is Charlie Watts. More than happy to duke it out in the clinch position, looking to turn his man onto the cage, yeah. Does so.
Obviously Ippon Gym with Jeff Lawson, their head coach down there, a lot of judo experience, so hopefully well-versed in the clinch is Andy Kerr. Bit of a stalemate at the moment up against the cage, just jockeying for position in that over-under clinch.
Both men looking more than confident in this position, Josh.
Yeah, it's nice work from Kerr to try and instigate control with the head, and Charlie Watts immediately shrugged him off and returned to a neutral position.
David Swan has asked for action and calls the break. Not that there wasn't much happening, but it was a neutral position. Neither man able to advance. Right hand lands again from Watts.
Oh, and Watts going high, and I think he might have just clipped Andy Kerr there, who gets backed up against the cage. Of Watts now in on the hips.
Well, when you're throwing big power strikes like that, they don't have to land clean, Josh.
No, and look immediately how Andy Kerr posts. His hips and his legs were clearly off the ground, but he just cleanly posted, stayed on his feet. Really nice fundamental awareness against the cage there for the man from Bournemouth.
What's the cage?
Now Watts dragging his man to the mat. Looking to assert dominance is Charlie Watts, but Andy Kerr fighting him every step of the way, Josh. Back on his feet is the man from Ippon Gym.
Yeah, very nicely popping back up. You can see how tight Charlie Watts is staying here. Andy Kerr's going to try and turn into him, put the cage between himself and Charlie Watts.
Cage Warriors 64 prelim, sponsored by London Fight Store and IrishMMA.com. Viewers in Ireland will be able to catch our main card tonight on IrishMMA.tv.
Andy Kerr trying the crossface, but Charlie Watts was so intent on the hips that he was put on his backside for a moment, but straight away again popping back up to his feet. It's good defensive work from Kerr, but at the same time, it's an onslaught from Charlie Watts in this position.
Watts turning his man again very sharply into the cage.
Again, still a very neutral position. The aggression coming from Watts and doing most of the work, but excellent defense from Andy Kerr as well.
Watts really is relentless in this opening round, Josh.
Yeah, staying so tight on the hips and looking for the guillotine is Andy Kerr, and he's got a huge arch on the neck of Charlie Watts here. Time ticking away, though.
Doesn't have it on the neck, though, Josh. It's over the jaw at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think Charlie Watts is just going to see this one out here, but Andy Kerr showing he won't take the takedowns lightly.
And very much still in this one is Andy Kerr, keeping Watts guessing to the last seconds of that round.
I mean, it's really
with the guillotine attempt.
Really impressed with the defensive awareness of Andy Kerr. Once Charlie Watts started trying to put this fight on the floor, popping back up to his feet immediately, posting where he needed. I mean, let's have a look at some of these replays.
It's a left hand over the top there from Watts, found it home, and a big left hand from Andy Kerr.
Oh, and that was where Andy Kerr was just clipped and knocked back towards the cage, and this really started Watts on this train of thought of let's try and repeatedly put Andy Kerr on the ground.
And it was Watts going for the slam there. Kerr locking up that guillotine across the jaw, a very painful hold, but not a choke submission.
Yeah, arming guillotine as well. It was always going to be hard to get the angle from that position. Really good first round, though. Some very interesting ideas for both guys to think about.
Not a bad way to start the action here at Cage Warriors 64 from London's Forum. The crowd in Kentish Town out in force in support of Charlie Watts, the local fighter. Tentative start to this second frame. 3 5-minute rounds if they need them. Watts looking light on his feet, bouncing in and out of the pocket. Throws that head kick again, and a nice right hand behind it.
Oh, and good work from Charlie Watts on the flurry here. Let's see if Andy Kerr can get back to his feet. Charlie Watts
Punches from Charlie Watts. Big knee in the clinch. Andy Kerr goes down. Referee David Swan asking for action from Andy Kerr.
Well, I've got to say, Andy Kerr showing how tough he is, holding in on that and earning actually a takedown off the back of all that. I mean, he took a tremendous amount of damage in that flurry.
Kerr immediately going for the neck again.
I mean, Charlie Watts has been put on the back foot here as Andy Kerr looks to jump straight to the back.
No shortage of action here in this welterweight contest.
I mean, Watts really went for the finish there. A tremendous flurry, just punches in volume. And Andy Kerr, as soon as he knew he had to move, it looked for a moment like he might be in a lot of trouble, but really good work from him to get back to his feet.
No resting, guys.
Watts now back in control in the clinch, up against the cage, looking for the takedown, but he's given up position there.
Yeah, he was a little bit loose there and looking for the DAS. Here's Andy Kerr, looking for that vice grip. You can see him feeding that right arm all the way through. If he can lock into his left bicep and walk that hand high, Charlie Watts is going to have to be very careful. Sitting down to get the crank on the neck now. Oh, and opting to give it up for the top position, but all changing here for Charlie Watts and Andy Kerr in this one.
Big elbows from Charlie Watts. Referee David Swan warning him about the position, but he's landing clean now from Watts.
Oh yeah, Andy Kerr cannot sit here. Good pick up from him.
That's the second time now we've seen a takedown keep Andy Kerr in this fight, Josh.
Yeah,
and again, he's got a dominant position out of it.
Yeah, you know what? Still got 2.5 minutes left to work in this round. He's going to try and use those underhooks to flatten Charlie Watts out. You can see him driving his hips into his spine. Watts trying to re-establish that position, but What a turnaround this would be for Andy Kerr.
Stepping over into mount now is Andy Kerr. As you said, Josh, a lot of time to work.
Yeah,
just over 2 minutes on the clock in this second of 3 5-minute rounds.
To be honest, I don't want to see him rush here. I want to see him really establish this position. I think Charlie Watts, that was a tremendous amount of energy expended in those takedown attempts and in that flurry. And sometimes when guys go for that kill, they can just burn themselves out.
A very experienced corner by Andy Kerr, Jeff Lawson, Scott Pooley, one of the UK's top-ranked flyweight competitors.
Andy
Kerr now following instructions, turning up the volume.
Really nice awareness from Andy Kerr to jump to knee on belly there. Again, he's going to look for the hooks, and Charlie Watts has got to be a lot more active here. He's giving Andy Kerr a lot of time to think about what he wants to do.
Definitely leveling up this fight now is Andy Kerr.
Just very short shots, just trying to build up a few scoring opportunities. Not quite like the ground and pound that Watts was throwing at Kerr earlier on, but looking for the choke now. And you know what? We're seeing no movement from Charlie Watts now. I mean, I hate to say it, but has he burned himself out?
Quite possibly. The question then is going to go into the third round. Will Andy Kerr have burned himself out if it gets that far?
Yeah, because this round has been just back and forth the whole time. I mean, interesting one for the judges to score as well.
We've said it before, we'll no doubt say it again. Glad we're not judges. 3 of the best in the business doing that job for us tonight.
Andy Kerr bearing his weight on him. I'd like to see him stay a bit heavier in the hips, but Charlie Watts manages to scrabble back to his feet.
Kerr now perhaps looking for a single leg, stomping the foot of Charlie Watts repeatedly.
Yeah, haven't seen some of those for a while. Good work from Kerr here, but again, these elbows are so dangerous. You can't afford to sit here with your head in kind of neutral ground. Got to be looking to work. I mean, he's blocking a lot of them. Final seconds here. Wow.
A round of action.
Yeah, I mean, I've got no idea which way you're going to call that, because the flurry from Watts, which I'm sure we're going to see in some replays in a second, was almost so decisive. You thought, well, that spelled out that the key things that's going to happen in that round. But Andy Kerr...
some of that action now. Big right hand from Charlie Watts. A body kick looked like it really hurt him there.
Yeah, again, staying heavy on the hips. A lot of power in those strikes. So you can see Andy Kerr almost reneging there, but driving in for a takedown of his own, and then started really building up a lot of time in this dominant position.
Very, very interesting to see how the judges score this one. There's those foot stomps at the end of the round.
I mean, the back mount from Andy Kerr was very interesting as well. Charlie Watts was able to fight his way back from that, but at one point it looked as though he was flattened and done. But as you said, Brad, the question is, who's got more in the gas tank?
Let's go, guys, corner, let's go. Out, Ash, let's go.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the third and final round.
And both
Final
these
round,
young
guys, you
men
ready?
looking like they're thoroughly enjoying themselves in the Cage Warriors cage. Touch of gloves to start the third and final frame. Andy Kerr in the white shorts, Charlie Watts in the black. Who has more in the gas tank? Who wants their hand raised more? We are about to find out.
Yeah, let's just see who's got a bit more pop on the feet here. This is where that explosiveness might have lost its way.
Nice leg kick from Kerr. More tentative start to this third round.
We've very rarely seen Charlie Watts go that deep in all his appearances here on Cage Warriors. It was only really his last time out against Ben Constantine that he's been to a decision, so...
It's going to be interesting to see now what Watts has got left in the gas tank. Did look very tired towards the end of that fight with Constantine, but the pace those two kept up was pretty frantic throughout.
Yeah, Andy Kerr, I have to say, has never gone to a decision either, so, you know, unknown territory for him here, and if we make it through this third round. had a smile on the face of Andy Kerr after that exchange.
Nice kick to the body from Andy Kerr.
And straight up the open side, obviously. The southpaw stance for Andy Kerr here, so toe-to-toe for both these guys. You can see Charlie Watts constantly trying to move to his left, get that foot on the outside. Same thing for Andy Kerr, moving to the right, trying to fight for that dominant position with that lead leg.
Referee David Swan calling for action. Watts just doesn't seem like he's able to turn the volume up as much in this round as of yet, Josh.
Yeah, but at the same time, Andy Kerr isn't throwing too many strikes either. So at the moment, Watts isn't landing with too much power, but he is the one throwing the strikes.
Surely both corners telling their fighters before this third and final frame that they need a finish to be sure of victory here. This fight very much still an open book. Kerr initiates the clinch, Watts getting the better of it, working his man up against the fence.
They're still 50-50 here. You can see Andy Kerr trying to get his forehead on, Watts immediately pummeling his forehead. The head position is so important in this clinch position.
The man with the better head position is the man that controls this position up against the cage.
Let's see if Watts can march that underhook really high, use the head to drive his man off the toes and then pick the ankle away.
Watts running down the clock here, pressing his man up against the fence right in front of us.
And he's got the body lock as well, so look for him to perhaps suddenly change the angle here. Oh, stepping across for the Haragoshi was Andy Kerr, but not quite able to get the explosiveness he needed.
It's Kerr now in the dominant position up against the fence, again using those foot stomps. Watts turns his man onto the cage.
Well, Charlie Watts again with the head position. It's so dominant if you can get that forehead right where you want it. Really very uncomfortable for the guy on the receiving end. Again, he uses it to pummel down for a body lock and shuts very nicely to the back. Real sharp change of level there.
Final 60 seconds of this welterweight contest. Charlie Watts in the dominant position now. Some tapping strikes to the head from Andy Kerr. Yeah, irritating more than anything else.
Immediately getting back to his feet. It's a very slow pace from Charlie Watts. I can't really blame him after that frantic second round.
Maybe out of necessity rather than some choice. He really did put his foot on the gas in that second round, Josh.
Finding some target areas on the thighs here, though, with the knees. Striking what he can see in this instance.
Kerr trapped here, Watts trying to complete this takedown. Nice backward elbow there from Andy Kerr.
And Andy Kerr's having to concentrate on getting back to his feet. He's not really having much chance to break the grip of Charlie Watts, so it's just a repetitive cycle here for him in this position.
And Watts loading. Kerr hits back with one of his own.
I like that Charlie Watts saw the last 10 seconds through his strikes. He did eat a nice left hand from Andy Kerr there, but I think Charlie Watts perhaps just doing enough to take that third. Very interesting how the judges are going to see that fight overall.
Going to take a look at some of the action. Nice kick to the body there from Andy Kerr. Watts looking for that takedown at the end of the third and final round. Kerr fighting him every step of the way. And a nice back elbow there from Andy Kerr up against the cage. A big left hand from Kerr landed. It was Watts initiating the striking, and a great show of sportsmanship from these two fine young athletes, Josh.
Yeah, I think both guys really enjoying that fight, but they both had their moments, didn't they? They both had an opportunity to really seal that fight, put it away, and neither guy able to take it, not through any fault of their own, but just through sheer bloody-mindedness and stubbornness of their opponents.
It's another 3 rounds in the books for Charlie Watts. Definitely a fight that gave him a lot to think about. Just his 6th professional contest. And we're going to throw this one to Joe Martinez, who has the official result.
And all fight fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Here are the judges' totals. Judge David Leatherby scores at 30-27. Judges Cartledge and Collette 29-28. All 3 for your winner by unanimous decision from London, England, Charlie Watts.
And a solid performance from Charlie Watts there, Josh.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, he'll certainly have some points to take away and work on, but, you know, always good to get another one in the bag, and, you know, it's a lot of ring time for him, so.
Absolutely. Just his 6th professional fight, only 24 years old, plenty of time to learn, plenty of time to grow for Charlie Watts. And nonetheless, a valiant effort from Andy Kerr, really kept the young prospect in that fight, right to the final bell.
Yeah, I don't think he should be disappointed. There was a lot of really good work from Andy Kerr throughout that position, particularly his defensive work in getting back to the feet.